Think your automatic transmission is indestructible? That it's a set-it-and-forget-it piece of machinery? I'm here to tell you that some of the most common habits behind the wheel are slowly, silently murdering your gearbox. These aren't catastrophic failures that happen overnight. They're the little thing, the daily routines you don't even think about that are cooking your transmission fluid, grinding down vital components, and setting you up for a repair build that will make your eyes water. Forget everything you think you know. Today, we're not just listing mistakes. We're exposing the 6 golden rules you absolutely must follow to keep your automatic transmission out of the graveyard and thousands of dollars in your pocket. First up, let's talk about the most brutal, cringe-inducing moments you can put your transmission through. This is our first golden rule. Never force a shift when the car isn't ready. I'm talking about those moments of panic or impatience. Picture this. You're trying to do a quick 3-point turn, and while the car is still rolling backward, you slam the gear selector from reverse into drive. Or maybe even worse, you're rolling into a parking spot and you shift into park before the car has come to a complete, total standstill. Every time you do this, you are forcing the transmission's internal components to act as a brake. Inside your gearbox, there's a small but vital component called the parking pawl. Its only job is to lock the transmission's output shaft when the car is completely stopped. It's a tiny metal pin designed to hold a stationary object, not to stop a moving one. Forcing it into place while moving will cause it to wear down, chip, or even shear off completely, potentially damaging the output shaft with it. If you ever hear a grinding or clicking noise when you shift into park, that's the sound of you torturing that little pawl. Stop it. Always, and I mean always, come to a complete stop before shifting between drive and reverse, and especially before shifting into park. Our second golden rule is what I call the proper parking ritual, and it's something that 90% of drivers get wrong. You pull into a spot, you shift to park, you turn off the engine, and you get out. Wrong! You just put the entire weight of your car, whether it's 1,500 kilograms or more, onto that tiny parking pawl we just talked about. This is especially damaging on even the slightest incline. Over time, this immense stress weakens the pawl and the entire transmission linkage. Here's the correct way to do it, the way that will save your transmission. First, come to a complete stop with your foot still on the brake. Second, engage the parking brake or handbrake firmly. You should feel the car settle onto the brake. Third, then you can shift the car into park. And fourth, you can now turn off the engine. By engaging the parking brake first, you're letting the brake system, which is designed to hold the car, do all the heavy lifting. The parking pawl is now just a secondary safety lock under virtually no stress. Making this simple sequence a habit, even on flat ground, takes all the strain off your transmission and ensures you're not slowly destroying it every single time you park. The third golden rule is to stop trying to outsmart your car's brain. Many drivers have picked up habits they believe save fuel or are somehow clever, but with modern cars, you're usually just causing harm. The biggest myth is coasting downhill in neutral to save gas. This is completely 100% false and frankly dangerous. Modern fuel-injected engines are incredibly smart. When you're driving downhill in drive and you take your foot off the accelerator, the engine control unit, or ECU, cuts the fuel supply to the injectors almost completely. The wheels are turning the engine, not the other way around. You are literally using zero fuel. The moment you shift into neutral, the engine has to inject fuel just to keep itself running at idle. So not only are you wasting fuel by coasting, you're also sacrificing control. In neutral, you have no engine braking to help slow the car down, putting all the stress on your brake pads and rotors, causing them to overheat and wear out faster. You also can't accelerate quickly in an emergency. The other side of this coin is aggressive acceleration. Constantly flooring it from a standstill puts an incredible shock load on the entire drivetrain, from the engine mounts to the suspension bushings and, of course, the transmission itself. A smooth, controlled acceleration is not only better for your fuel economy, but also for the long-term health of every component in your car. Let the car do its job. It's smarter than you think. Our fourth rule is simple. Give your transmission a break when you're not moving. I'm talking about sitting at a long red light or being stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic. Many people just keep the car in drive with their foot on the brake. It seems harmless, but what's happening under the hood? The torque converter, which is the fluid coupling between your engine and transmission, is still trying to transfer power. The engine wants to move forward, but your brakes are holding it back. This internal struggle generates a tremendous amount of heat. On a hot day, leaving your car in drive at a standstill for just a few minutes can raise your transmission fluid temperature by 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. Heat is the #1 enemy of transmission fluid. It breaks down the fluid's chemical structure, reducing its ability to lubricate and cool. This leads to accelerated wear on the clutches, seals, and other internal parts. The solution is so easy. If you're going to be stopped for more than, say, 20 or 30 seconds, just slip the gear lever into neutral. It disengages the torque converter, immediately reducing the load and allowing the transmission fluid to circulate more freely and cool down. It's a tiny habit that can dramatically extend the life of your transmission. This brings us to our fifth and absolutely critical rule, and that is fluids are your car's lifeblood, so treat them that way. This starts with the most obvious one, your transmission fluid. Many manufacturers use terms like lifetime fluid, which is dangerously misleading. There is no such thing. Your transmission is a complex hydraulic system with fast-moving gears and clutches that generate friction and heat. The fluid is what lubricates these parts and, just as importantly, carries away that heat. Over time, that fluid degrades. It picks up tiny metal particles and its chemical properties break down. Fresh transmission fluid is typically a bright, translucent red and has a neutral smell. Old, worn-out fluid turns a dark, murky brown and can have a burnt toast smell. If your fluid looks or smells like that, it's already damaged. For most cars, you should be looking to change your transmission fluid and filter every 80,000 kilometers or so. The other fluid to be mindful of is water. Never ever drive through deep standing water if you can avoid it. Most transmissions have a breather vent located low down, and it's frighteningly easy for water to get sucked in. Water mixing with transmission fluid creates a milky, useless sludge that destroys the friction materials on your clutch packs. It's a death sentence for your transmission. And finally, even your fuel level matters. The electric fuel pump is usually located inside your tank and relies on the surrounding gasoline to keep it cool. Constantly running your car on a near-empty tank means the pump is exposed to air, causing it to overheat and fail prematurely. Keep your tank at least a quarter full. Finally, our sixth golden rule is that your car is always talking to you, and you need to listen. Pay attention to the signs it gives you. This starts with the most obvious communicators, the warning lights on your dashboard. They are not decorations. A transmission temperature light, an oil pressure light, or a check engine light is your car's way of screaming for help. Ignoring them is like ignoring a fire alarm. A small sensor issue can quickly become a catastrophic system failure if you don't get it checked out. You also need to listen with your ears and feel with your body. For instance, don't just blast the radio when you're stuck in snow. Spinning your wheels endlessly in snow or mud is a fast track to an overheated and damaged transmission. Instead of flooring it, gently rock the car between reverse and drive, or use low gear modes if your car has them. Clear the snow from around the drive wheels and use materials like cat litter or floor mats to gain traction. The same goes for cold weather. On a freezing morning, your transmission fluid is thick like molasses. Jumping in and driving off immediately puts a huge strain on the internal hydraulics. Let the car idle for just a minute. This gives both the engine oil and the transmission fluid time to warm up and flow properly, protecting all those delicate internal parts. And please, take your hand off the gear selector. It's not a handrest. The constant weight, however slight, puts pressure on the selector fork and other linkage components, causing premature wear. Keep your hands on the wheel, where they belong. So, what's the worst automatic transmission habit you've ever seen? Let me know down in the comments. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button so you don't miss our next deep dive into keeping your car running like new.